recipe, the ingredients are bottle gourd or calabash, olive oil. This is probably about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Here I have fresh cracked black pepper and salt. I have garlic, onion, and tomatoes. Now you notice that some tomatoes are darker than the others. That's because I use my heirloom brandy wine and Cherokee purple tomatoes here to saute the soup that I'm going to make today. I also have small pieces of pork, and I also have rice noodle, which I will be pre-cooking this by boiling this like you would a spaghetti noodles, probably about 7 to 8 minutes, then drain it and then add it to the soup. So another thing I want to point out is, as you know, most of my vegetables that I'm cooking here are vegetables I grow in my organic garden. Now if you're growing your own bottle gourd, I suggest that you do not pick bottle gourd or calabash bigger than this size. This is about a foot long, and if you let it grow bigger than this, naturally it will mature, and chances are you will have some mature seeds inside, and you don't want that. You want everything, every part of this calabash to be nice and tender, perfect for cooking and making soup especially. And I already have some that I already have cut up over here, which I'm going to be using today. I just have to show you the perfect ideal size for cooking your calabash or upo or bottle gourd. So let's get started with the, oh, by the way, on the back burner, as usual, I like to make my own broth. And what I do is, if I'm using meat, I would save the bone and I would put in a pot and let it boil with some aromatics. Okay, I think it's nice and hot. So we're going to start with our olive oil. Okay, now we are going to add some garlic. Add the onion. Now we'll add our meat. I said meat because you have choices of the protein for this recipe. You could use chicken or shrimp if you'd like, or you don't even have to add any meat at all. So I'm going to add my salt and pepper. That's about a teaspoon of salt and about half a teaspoon of fresh cracked black pepper. I'm going to allow this to saute and kind of render some of the fat of the pork a little bit. So we are going to cover this and allow that to cook nice and slow. I'm lowering my heat. Okay, so as you can see, the meat juices has been reduced and some of the fat are rendered, and see all that nice brown bits down there. Now we are going to add our tomato. We're going to give the tomato a chance to stew. And again, I want to reduce the tomato juice. All the juices that comes out of this tomato, I want it to reduce a little so that I could intensify the flavor of the seasonings. And then I'll go ahead and incorporate the butter gourd, which is the main vegetable of this soup. And at the back burner, I have the water boiling so that I could go ahead and boil the noodle, okay? Okay, so now I can see that the oil is starting to separate from the tomato sauce. That is my signal that it's ready for me to add the rest of the ingredients, which I'm going to add my broth and allow this to boil. And then I will go ahead and add the vegetable and the noodle. Add as much broth as you want. And in my case, my granddaughter loved her soup. Macy just loved soup. So I had to make sure I got a lot of broth on mine. Oh wow, the broth is so delicious. Now we are going to add our upo or calabash. So I believe everything here is cooked through. I tasted one of the upo and nice and tender. Upo got that kind of neutral taste, like, you know, it absorbs the flavor of the ingredients, and that's where it's at right now. You could taste the pork in it, the garlic, the onion, the vegetable absorb all that flavor, and it's so delicious. The first time I made this, I cannot believe that Madison, my granddaughter, asked for a second. And naturally, my younger one, Macy, her favorite is soup. So she just keeps on and on until she's full. And because they like this soup so much, I decided it's best. I'm sure that somebody in my viewer would enjoy it as much as they did. So now I'm going to add the rice noodles. As you can see, it's already been pre-cooked. So I don't really need to cook this anymore. I'm actually going to turn off the stove. So, and for those of you who just want to keep it as a vegetable soup, you could eliminate the noodle if you want, or if you're like avoiding any carb. And actually, rice noodle is one of the best noodle you can eat if you crave carb but would like to, you know, cut back on it. So there it is, as you can see. And Madison would enjoy those noodles. Those are the best part of this soup for her. Okay, and let me taste again for seasoning. It's always a good idea to make sure you have enough salt, maybe a little more pepper, whatever. And really, I'm not gonna do anything else. It's perfect the way it is.